We have got some big Arsenal injury updates. There's some bad news in there, but I can also tell you there's some good news in there as well. We're going to speak about it, but I also wanted to get everyone else's opinions on Thomas Partey. There seems to be a growing concern around Thomas Partey that I definitely want to get people's opinions on. Before we get into it though, just very quickly, just do me a favour and hit like on this video. So before I give you the injury updates, Thomas Partey, what's your initial thoughts on Thomas Partey? Because there is a difference of opinion. Do you think this player is not good enough? Do you think we need to keep playing him? And I'm even hearing some people say we need to sell Thomas Partey. I'm going to give you my opinion on it in about 2 minutes after the injury updates. But first of all, let me know your thoughts and where are you at with Thomas Partey? So we're going to start the injury updates with Mikel Merino. I've had so many of you guys saying, what's the update on Merino? Is Merino injured? And unfortunately, the bad news is Mikel Merino is injured and he could look to be on the sideline for an extended period of time. The time frame being put on it is 6 to 8 weeks, and this is massively damaging to Arsenal's season. I think we still can get through it, but just listen to some of the games that Mikel Merino is going to miss, okay? We obviously know we got Tottenham in a couple of weeks. We got Atalanta in the Champions League. We got Man City. Then we got PSG in the Champions League. We got Shakhtar Donetsk in the Champions League. Then we got Liverpool and Newcastle. And then depending how early in November he's back, we've got Inter Milan in the Champions League. Then we got Chelsea. So these are massive fixtures that you would hope to have your best team available for. I hope it's closer to the 6 weeks. He's probably still will miss about 6 or 7 games, which is massive. If he's out for the full 8 weeks, he could miss like 10, 11 games. I think we're slightly helped out by the fact that we know we're now going into an international kind of fixtures for a couple of weeks. It's not ideal to have the international fixtures, but if they're to come at any point for Arsenal, this is probably the perfect time. It allows Merino to try and get some recovery in. And all we have to do now is hope that so many of these players out on international duty don't get injured. I'm thinking of Rice, Saka, Havertz, Odegaard, who we know came off in the last game with an injury. He's set to play for Norway in their upcoming fixtures. So it's definitely something to look out for. Other injury updates, it seems like good news when it comes to Gabriel Jesus. It's looking like he will probably be available for the Tottenham game. Now, all of these injuries are always subject to change because you can't plan for the future. You don't know if they're going to pick up a slight setback. And with Gabriel Jesus, I wouldn't put it past him. But it's looking like Gabriel Jesus will be available for that fixture against Tottenham. And that does give you some different options to use in that game now. We know we might want to use Havertz dropping into midfield now because we probably will be limited in the choices we can lose because we're not going to have Merino. We're not going to have Rice. So does that mean you drop Havertz back into the 8 and then play Gabi Jesus up top or play Trossard up top and someone else on the wing? It just gives us different options. It's looking like for me, like before this transfer window ended, I was kind of thinking we're a bit light up front. Obviously, we had Sterling come in, and I've told you on yesterday's video and the day before, like I've told you why it's a good signing. It's a brilliant signing. But it still appears to me maybe we're slightly light up front. Now, we do now have some good options. We've got Trossard, we've got Martinelli, we've got Havertz, Jesus, Saka, Sterling. As long as they can all keep fit, then I think we'll be fine. But if we get 1 or 2 injuries, then we could be in a position where we're thinking, wow, we're really like slim up top. The good thing is we don't have to wait too long until that January transfer window opens. It's never good to rely on the transfer window in January, and that's why not a lot of business usually gets done in those windows. It's usually more of a reaction deal that you have to do in January. If a couple of players do get injured and you look at your squad and you think, wow, we need some more reinforcements, then you would usually dip into the transfer window in January. Some people are still hoping Arsenal dip into the transfer window in January for a striker. Now, I'm not saying it's impossible. Depends what kind of strikers would be available. I would say it would be unlikely. A striker or a deal like that is usually a deal set aside for the summer. We know Arsenal was in for Benjamin Sesko this summer, so we're being led to believe, but it didn't pay off. So I don't see Arsenal going in for any major transfers in January. It would be good to see us bring some players in. It's always good. As fans, you always want more players, don't you? We just have to see how the injuries play out. Tomiyasu. What is happening with Takehiro Tomiyasu? It seems like this guy's always missing. And it's a shame because when he comes back, he usually gets into the starting 11. Like, I think our back line last season consisted of Tomiyasu in that left-back role. And he's not even a natural left-back. That's how good he is. That's how versatile he is. I think he can offer this Arsenal team so much. But the guy just can't keep fit. Like, if I'm looking at the perfect defender, I definitely like would picture Tomiyasu. He's big, strong, athletic. He's fast. He can play. But he just can't keep fit. And, you know, we're not going to miss him so much because now we have so many defensive reinforcements. But, you know, some people are probably looking at it and saying, we need to sell Tomiyasu. Let me know your guys' thoughts on it. Do you think it's time to sell Tomiyasu? Because to me, it does appear that he keeps getting injured too much. Like, this is a player who is injury prone. We can't say he's not because he's always getting injured every single season for as long as I can remember since he's been at Arsenal. Tomiyasu picks up an injury, and it's never usually a small one that keeps him out for a week or two. We miss months of the season with Tomiyasu. And then when he come back, he does manage to get into the starting 11. It would be great to have Tomiyasu as an option. But we know the other options we got now. We got Timber, we got Tomiyasu, we got Timber, we got Zinchenko, we got Calafiori, we got Kivior, we got Saliba, Gabriel, Ben White. So many defensive options that's probably a player that we can look at and say, do we need to keep him at the club? Look, again, I like Tomiyasu. But if you can sell Tomiyasu, bring in a bit of a transfer fee and reinvest that money elsewhere, I'm probably of that opinion now. Unless Tomiyasu can come back and make this his last injury, and there is, of course, no way of guaranteeing that. I like Tomiyasu as a player, but the injury record to me is like, come on, man, we need to get you fit. You're like, you can't stay in an Arsenal team and like start playing well and then 2 minutes later you're injured. It's just frustrating. There's no continuity and it's just difficult. Right, so I'm going to give you my opinion on the Thomas Partey situation. Like I said, there's a difference of opinion. Like, I'm seeing growing frustration out there online over Thomas Partey. And to be honest, I don't see it myself. I still think in that number 6 position, apart from Rice, Thomas Partey is our best option. Let me know your guys' thoughts. What is the alternative? That's what I would be looking at it and saying. What is the alternative to Thomas Partey? Because I don't think Jorginho's the answer. I like Jorginho as a player in some games because he does have attributes that can be effective in certain moments, in build-up play and dictating play. I understand that. But to me, Thomas Partey is a better player than Jorginho now. Like, he's more athletic, he's faster, and people say Partey's legs are gone, but you would only be swapping him for a Jorginho whose legs have gone even more. And I don't want to be offensive to these players, but I still think Thomas Partey can do a shift until the end of the season. If you get to the end of the season and he's still not there, like he's still not up to the level that you want, okay, then don't offer him a new deal. I certainly wouldn't be offering him a new deal yet. Not just because of the way he's playing, because I don't think he's been too bad. In the second half last game, okay, he dropped off. In the first half, he'd done some actions, some defensive actions that I actually quite liked. Can we upgrade that position? Of course. But you're never going to do it all in one window. You can't spend 200-300 million in one window and upgrade every single position. So going into the transfer window next season, central defensive midfield will be a position that we need to reinforce. We need to bring in stronger options. And if that means letting go of Thomas Partey, it will be on a free, then that's okay. I would be shocked if we let him go in January. If we do enter the market in January, that would be the only position I can see us strengthening in. If maybe Thomas Partey gets another injury and then you need to go into the market to bring in a number 6, a nice, strong, defensive, young, central defensive midfielder that can come in and learn. When I'm saying young, I don't mean 16, 17. I mean maybe 22, 23. A player who is at a level ready to slot straight into the team, but also still has some growth, still has some development in them. That's the only way I can see Arsenal entering the transfer window in January. I don't know. Let me know your guys' thoughts on Thomas Partey. Are you getting fed up with him? Because people are. I'm seeing it in the comment section. We need to drop Partey. I don't want us to play Partey anymore. And I'm thinking, like, I get the frustration because he's not been perfect. But what is the alternative? Are you happy with Jorginho being played as number 6 against Man City or against Tottenham away? Let me know in the comment section. The last thing I wanted to touch on is the Declan Rice saga still continues. We still got referees coming out and defending Chris Kavanagh for his decision against Declan Rice. And I can just say, boys, stop it. Because you're just making yourself look silly. It was never a sending off. You can say Declan Rice was being petty by kicking the ball, but I'm not going to get into the whole conversation again about why he shouldn't have been sent off. Am I shocked that referees are coming out and defending their colleague? Or no, of course I'm not. This is what they do. They make a poor decision and then they all stand behind each other because they're all incompetent, in my opinion. There are maybe some good referees out there, but we don't see many of them in this country. There's so many inconsistencies in the refereeing in this country that we're allowed to talk about it. Some people say we need to stop giving them a hard time. I don't think we need to stop giving them a hard time. Okay, you can stop giving them the abuse, but you're allowed to call out people when they're not doing a good job. If I went to work and wasn't doing a good job, I don't expect to be praised for it or to be sheltered from the criticism or maybe the constructive criticism. Like, all we're saying is we want referees to be better. All we're saying is we want some consistency that we can see in every single game, so it doesn't hurt quite so much when you get one game, a certain decision not given, and then you play a game and you get the decision against you and you get a player sent off and you're thinking, like, there's bound to be frustration because the consistency just isn't there. Am I shocked about these referees coming out and defending each other? No, but let me know your guys' thoughts on it. Thanks so much to everyone for watching and listening. Before you go, like I said, just do me a favor, hit like on this video. It is free. Just hit like and subscribe, and I'll speak to you all in tomorrow's video. Gooners, have a good day.